What's going on, Scalp X Legends? I'm hoping you're coming off a phenomenal weekend, well rested, and having an even greater start to your week. I want to share with you a couple different ideas for ETH. Some of our targets are coming to fruition, so we're still on track, but I want to give you some updates because we're coming towards the end of the month this week at the start of a new week. So I want to give you guys some ideas as far as what we should be looking for. Outside of that, let's dive into these charts. So I want to point your attention towards what we discussed last week. We were talking about a falling wedge, contracting triangle. We were looking at 5 potential hits that we needed to have on those converging trend lines. Converging trend lines being the 2 black lines that you see that are forming that triangle pattern. Now, I was under the assumption that this could have been potentially the wave D, right? Let's say this area right over here could have been a wave D. And very well still could be. The only issue that I have with that is that we never actually touched that trend line, and this last move to the downside never really touched this bottom part of this trend line. So we have to remember we need at least 5 hits. So let's move this over with the assumption that we didn't touch that trend line for a reason, because we're still going to be moving back up into those areas. Well, that puts us right inside of this blue box where there's an order block that sits in that area that sits right around 34.15, goes all the way up to like 34.47, and the very bottom of this area is right around 33.88, 33.79 inside of those areas. So I think, in my opinion, with this week, we could have a move to that area, retest it, and then start moving our way back down. Either that happens this week, or we see that in the first part of the week going into the month of February, meaning that would be February's highs. And I have some thoughts about February altogether, but essentially we're still on track for that thesis that we're going to be touching into this trend line and then making our lows into this area. Now you see where I have wave E. Wave E can be a little bit further up here in this area. It can be maybe 27.74. It can be a little bit higher in this area. But really what I'm pointing towards is when this would occur. I'm looking at towards the 14th through the 28th of February when that is to occur as far as us hitting those levels. So before we hit those levels, we'll probably go a little bit higher. That's where I want to point your attention towards this lower time frame, 4 hour, looking at a Gartley right now. And we're looking at specific levels to hold. We're looking for this 31.27 area, which is wave B, down to roughly around 31.04. In between that area for those areas to hold and then move higher into 34.45, which essentially is wave C. Now, if you guys are not familiar, I am a harmonic trader. You can see it in my bio. It's basically my thing. And the reason I want to point your attention towards that is because when dealing with harmonics, one of the cool things about them is going to be the TPs. They're pretty clear and cut. Wave B is important because it gives you 2 indications. It's either bust or break, in the sense meaning, are we going to bust through wave B, which we have, and is it going to find support, or was that a false narrative in the sense that it's pushed through and it's going to retrace all the way back down? So it's a super important level for us to hold in order for us to have continuation to the upside. Wave C is a strong TP level. It's a strong swing point. So it kind of lines up with what we were discussing as far as 34.45, lining up with our potential fourth hit for wave D of this contracted triangle. So essentially what I'm showing you is confluence right now. So if I was looking to long, because maybe I didn't hop into the free Discord community that we have, and I didn't take today's call at 3,085 and TP'd at 32.19. Maybe you didn't do that. In the event that you missed out, we want to make sure that we hold 31.27 if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, down to this 618 level, which is right around 31.04. We really want to see that level hold all together. Now, if I go down to lower time frames, this is something that we are working earlier in the day. I'm looking at a 21 minute. The reasoning behind this measurement, at least this fib level, just so you have an idea and you have more confidence in taking this trade, is because I'm looking at this being a potential wave 1, this last move to 32.19 that we just saw. So right now we're inside of a retracement, and the retracement levels for wave 2 can potentially be sharp. In most cases, they are sharp. It's not common to be flat. Can it be flat? And flat would be around this 0.382 level, right? And that's where we're bouncing right now, but I anticipate something that's going to be a little bit more sharp, and that puts us right around like 3104, 3073, maybe that level, but I'm really gunning for this 618 level. And then wave 3 would be even higher, and that would be our impulse leg. That would take us up to that 3445 benchmark that I was talking about earlier. 33.79, 34.45. We'll know more once we get into those zones, and I'll provide you with more measurements for wave 3 once wave 2 is confirmed. But just giving you confluence on top of ideas that you can throw at this chart for ETH and get an idea as far as which direction it's going to be heading towards. As I said before, once we get into this 34.45, 33.79, I'm looking at these 2,700 handles. You can see where my crosshairs are lined up. I'm looking anywhere between the 14th through the 28th of February for that to occur. So whether we hit those 34.45 numbers this week, I don't know about all that. Maybe towards the end of the month, last couple of days of this week, or we see it at the beginning of the February, and then it's going to be a retracement after that. One of the reasons why I'm looking at February being a red month is because I'm looking at a potential rising 3 methods pattern, which essentially is a bullish continuation pattern. So you're looking at this month and last month saying, well, how is it bullish if those last 2 months are bearish compared to November being a very strong bullish candle? And that's exactly what we want to point out. Our bear market low 2022 put us in the 800s. We've been going up ever since, painfully going up for ETH, but nevertheless going up. That being said, if we zoom in a little bit on this, because that's our trend, it's a bullish trend, and we look at how this candle just went bananas. It went into a bullish engulfing, and then we have 2 red months. So what do we get when we look at something like this? Well, we have a potential 3rd candle, which would be a rising 3, which should be bearish, that should print our low for the year, that should print our 5th hit inside of that contracting triangle, the falling wedge that I was showing you earlier. And that should be where we go into March as having a strong impulse that would look like this. It would be the exact same height as that. It's not equal in height, but equal in length from wherever we bottomed out at. So if I'm bringing my crosshairs down to, let's move this up to 27.67. Let's just bring it to there, or thereabouts, if you will. 27.26, off by a couple bucks. This trend line that you see right here is the same measurement as this candle. So that essentially would put us at a new high for the year, higher than our last year. And again, it couples with it being a continuation pattern. So these are all just the thoughts of why we're going to go higher. But if you really want to get nitty gritty, I'd start looking at working a 4-hour and even down to an hourly. And if you really want to make things super easy for yourself, join our free Discord. We discuss this stuff every single day. Myself and several different amazing traders that are going over ETH, BTC, ORDI, JUP, like you name it. There's a slew of different candles. There's a slew of different coins that are out there that we're taking advantage of, including even the memes that are out there as well too. So outside of all that, if you guys want to take advantage of our community, link is inside of my bio. If you want to have more personalized coaching, we have our Scalp X Academy that's rolling out on the 20th of February. So be sure to check that out. Other than that, have a phenomenal remainder of your week. Be profitable, be safe, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.